I guess I did disable the intro video. I didn't know whether or not I did that when I clicked go live, and now I'm finding out that I disabled the intro video. So, I don't know. It's one of those days. It's a Sunday, It's about 1:30, almost 1:40 now. Welcome to the Sports Show with No Name. I am your host. I'm Chad Bryan. With me, as always, is my buddy Ben Bales. Ben, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just, relaxing. Glad college football's back.
Yeah. It was a fun Saturday yesterday. I got to watch a lot of college football. I was in and out a little bit, running back and forth, doing some different things early on. So I actually missed a good deal of the first half of that Buckeyes game. I
didn't miss much.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a whole lot of action there, which is good. I mean, it's just good, but we'll get into that in a minute. First, I guess we're after week 2 of the high school football season. So high school football is in full swing next Sunday. Well, actually not even next Sunday, this coming Thursday. The NFL starts up. We've got an interesting matchup, the Cowboys and the Packers. I think that's going to be fun.
I didn't realize they played each other.
Traded Micah Parsons, so to the Packers. Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup. That's I don't know. That's must see TV. Sometimes I don't know, Ben. I don't watch the first Thursday night game of the year. I don't know why. Well, you know what? I do know why. I just thought of it. Normally, my Braves are about to embark on a playoff run, and I'm not ready to switch over fully yet to football, right? Like I can watch college football all Saturday. I'm great with that. But there's something about like watching the NFL before the Braves are done. I don't know. It's hard for me to it's hard to do both, right? I don't really like to do both.
While you're speaking on baseball, dude, the Guardians make no sense. They won't score a run for 4 games, and they rattle off 4 wins in a row, and you're like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, that's baseball, though. It evens out. It all evens out in the end. That's why you see a guy start off he's hit 600 the first 6 weeks of the season or something, and he ends up the season hitting 248. It just, you have that 6-week stretch where you hit 084. It evens out. It all evens out.
It's just crazy because if this Guardians team had some sort of consistency over the last 3 months of the season,
yeah,
they would be sitting pretty right now, probably in the wild card, and wouldn't even have to worry about trying to win out these last 2.5 weeks of the season. But now you got to win out.
Yeah,
3.5 back of the wild card.
Yeah,
I mean the division's out of question.
The division is probably out of the question. I don't think that's going to happen. But listen, nobody in the American League wants to really run away with those wild card spots either.
No.
I mean, all these teams are kind of falling flat on their faces right now.
I think it's one of those years where it could be like a wild card team that makes it to the World Series from the AL this year.
Yeah.
Because Yankees aren't great. I mean, the Tigers are good, but they've shown that they can be beat.
Well, they've got a huge starting pitching problem. I mean, they've got one starting pitcher that's I mean, I was going to say serviceable. I mean, Scooble's he's more than serviceable, but they don't have a true I feel like I've talked about it before. I feel like you need that true there's 2 aces at the 1 and 2 spot of the rotation to really make a deep run in the playoffs. Especially now that starting pitchers don't really go that long anymore. I mean, you got to get something out of your starting pitching. I just don't think they have much after Scooble. I think the Tigers might be in trouble. They could be a first-round exit.
I could see that. It's kind of one of those things too, where it's the Guardians don't really have it either, right? But at the same time, I think it's one of the things our pitchers aren't great, but if you just get one good game from Tanner Bybee, right, you could steal that game too, right? Because I think going into postseason, if
he's had a weird season,
he has. If I was Stephen Vogt going into postseason, right?
Yeah,
I think Gavin Williams has to be your number 1.
Okay,
the way he's pitched.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
and I think Parker Messick is your 2.
Okay.
Because 1, he doesn't have very many starts, so there's not much tape on him. And 2, he's looked really, really good in his 2 starts. And I think that 3rd starter's up in the air. It could be Bybee, it could be Allen, it could be just about anybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you put Bybee at 3 or 4? Because 4, sometimes that 4th spot in the rotation, it can be like the 5 spot in the regular season. It can kind of be like that swing where if you sweep somebody in the first round, you've got a choice. Now, you either go with your 4th starter in game 1 of the next series, which, wouldn't be bad if it's Tanner Bybee when he's Tanner Bybee.
Yeah.
But it's do you skip him over and go back to your ace for game 1 and try to avoid him? But then you have the question of too far, too much time between starts. I don't know. That's up to Stephen Vogt. He knows his players better than I do, obviously. So I'm sure we'll see if they make the playoffs. I'm sure we'll see what they do with that. But yeah, I just thought that you made me think of that as you were saying, with
It's like,
Allen as the 3 or whatever. Yeah.
but I always go back to it. It's like when the Guardians made it to the World Series, right? You had Kluber starting games 1, 4, and 7 of every single series, right?
Yeah.
And I think come World Series time, I think that hurt him because you saw what the Cubs did, right? Like they brought Lester out of the bullpen, and they just trusted that one starter could just go out there and give him like 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, and Jake Arrieta, by the way, I keep looking back to that time period. Jake Arrieta was on a run during that time period. He was really, really hard to hit.
But like, I feel like if the Guardians don't start Corey Kluber games 1, 4, and 7 in that World Series, obviously, yeah, if the rain delay doesn't happen, the Guardians probably win as well. But
yeah,
Kluber also didn't pitch great in games 4 or 7.
No, and the next season either. As the playoffs went on, the trend was downhill.
And so it's kind of one of those things too, where it's like, obviously it's hindsight's 2020, but if you start another pitcher, maybe you get that game 4 win or that game 7 win. But
yeah,
it's being a pitcher, it's so hard with pitchers because one day you'll have your stuff, next day, your back is tight and you're throwing 3 miles an hour less than what you were the day before.
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference, especially at that level. I mean, when you're used to seeing a guy throw 95, 96, when he's throwing 92, 93, like now that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Now the guys with movement can mask it a little bit because you get a little bit more movement with less velocity. It's like the pitcher on the third day of rest, or on 3 days of rest, pitching on the 4th day rather. Power guys tend to struggle a little more than the control and movement guys do because you don't really tend to have all your velocity there, but you get a little bit more movement. Sometimes
did you see the story that
you can harness? You got to be able to harness it.
Yeah. Did you see the story that just broke about Aroldis Chapman?
Which one?
The one about him locating his fastballs.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know what kind of? I mean, you've seen the run he's on over the last.
Yeah. For 15 years, the dude just been chucking his fastball. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, here's 104. See if you can hit it.
Yeah. Like, I should be locating that.
Yeah.
All right. Could you imagine, like, the whole time? Whatever.
Would he be the greatest closer ever if he was locating this entire time?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Like, that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
He's in spring training, and they're like, hey, have you ever thought about locating your pitches? Let's try it.
And be like, no, not really. What do you mean? Locating them where? In the strike zone? Like, throwing to a certain spot of the strike zone?
What is it?
I guess when you throw 104, what does it matter? You can throw it down the middle. I don't know.
What is it now? Like 41 innings or something like that?
What's that?
What is it now that he's gone like 41 innings or something like that while I give him a run?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And I mean, man, the Yankees could really use him right now. Well, the Guardians could use him. Imagine if the Guardians had a closer. I mean, maybe that's some of the, I'm sure there's some disruption in that clubhouse, don't you think, from this whole gambling investigation with
and
Ortiz?
Now that it got extended too,
I
feel like that's only going to hurt worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because
what does that mean? What does the extension mean? We haven't had a baseball episode in a while, but now that we're on it, it's Casual Conversation Sunday. I wanted to ask you, what do you think that extension means?
I think
what does it mean for Clase and Ortiz? What does it mean for the Guardians? What does it mean?
I think it's bad for everybody in general because I think if they weren't able to, figure out this whole investigation in a month and a half, and they need more time, either one, it's not as bad as we think, or
that's what I'm hoping. We can't find any evidence, right?
Or two, it's worse than we think.
There's a mountain of evidence.
Or 3, right? There's more people or more things involved that we don't know about yet that they're trying to sort out.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. I mean, those are pretty much 3 options I've gone over.
Because now the rosters have to be submitted by today.
Mm-hmm.
So neither one of them can be on our playoff roster.
Yeah.
So if the Guardians make the playoffs, now you're without your closer. And you're without another starter.
Yeah.
But
and it wasn't like Ortiz was he was struggling a little bit.
But like my dad said, right? Like if it comes out that Clase was throwing games last year in the postseason, that's going to look bad for baseball.
Terrible.
Because
it's awful for baseball.
Like I get when it's cold, right? Like balls don't spin as much. They don't move.
Remember, we talked about it on the show. We tried to break down why he was struggling so much in the playoffs.
But you're telling me that one of the best closers in baseball goes from having a 0.4 ERA to having a 9 ERA in the postseason?
Yeah, that was wild. That was a huge
difference. I mean, again, I get it's cold, but at the same time, you can't tell me that you're that much worse in the cold weather than you are in the heat.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, maybe that's why the investigation is extended because
That's
they're looking at the whole picture and they're like,
that's what
wow,
my
this
dad
is a
said.
weird blip. You know what I mean?
Because like it just makes no sense. Because like
Yeah,
especially like those noon, especially those like noon like like game fives or game sevens. Like those games are at 1 o'clock,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
he got absolutely hammered by the Tigers in a 1 o'clock game.
And everything he threw was very flat. I mean, we
It
talked about
was.
it, like not getting as much bite on the slider or not getting a grip on the fork, whatever it was. Everything he threw was getting hammered. I mean, he
Yeah.
was getting hit hard.
And
Yeah, I
it,
don't know.
it just makes you
Bad
wonder,
luck.
like, hey, was he doing it? Like, was he doing it then too? Like, was he? And if it comes out that he was betting on playoff games,
Oh man.
like, not only is baseball going to be in trouble, but he's going to be in like he might never play baseball again.
No, he'll never play baseball again. If he's found to be throwing games, it's one thing, you know, he'll most likely get a lengthy suspension, regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's found to have been, betting against himself on certain pitches here and there, it's going to be a suspension, a long suspension, could be a ban. But if they find out that he was throwing games intentionally in the playoffs, he's definitely facing a lifetime ban. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like you said, that's a bad look for baseball. It's a bad look for sports. It's a bad look when you've got, whatever, this game brought to you by this gambling company. You've got the signs everywhere in the background and they're flashing across, behind the home plate. And we're talking about the gambling investigation. And it's like, hey, it's brought to you by, whatever betting organization.
Well,
I don't want to name any, but yeah.
The Guardians lineup on whenever they post on Twitter, you used to always say, our lineup presented by Bet365.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
now
exactly.
They took that off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a bad look. I mean, the optics aren't great with that, right? And it's so hypocritical in one way, but in another way, like I don't want guys betting against themselves and throwing games and intentionally losing. I don't care if it's a regular season game. I don't want that.
And the thing that I told my dad, I said that makes no sense, right? Is why is baseball the only professional sport where players can bet?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like every other sport, you can't bet in general. Like you can't bet on other sports while you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember. That's why I can't remember who it was, but that football player a couple years ago, got suspended for 4 games because he was betting on baseball.
Yeah.
Like baseball is literally the only.
Well, and I think the problem was he did it in the team facility.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But, okay. I think they might be able to do it away from the team facility. But they can't bet on their own sport. They can't bet on like Sunday games. Like they can't, NFL guys can't bet on the. I don't really understand. Okay. You know what I just thought of? Let me ask you this, since we're talking about betting and scandals and everything else. What's worse? A closer? I'm not saying that Emmanuel Clase did this. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, what's worse? A closer intentionally, getting lit up in playoff games and throwing playoff games because he's making, a few $100,000 every bad pitch he throws, or $1 million every game he loses, or whatever, or the Michigan sign stealing scandal with the advanced scouting. Again, I don't have a problem with stealing signs. I know everyone says, "Hey, you can steal signs." Everybody does it. Sure, they do. But obviously, the advanced scouting was the problem there. So, what in your mind? And you can even throw the Astros cheating thing in there. What do you think's worse? I know what I think, but what do you think?
That's tough.
I know. I honestly would rather see a team want to win so badly that they cross the line and cheat than a team go, we don't care. We can make a couple extra $1 million if we just lose the game on purpose. This will be fun. Who cares? Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because cheating takes away from the spirit of like the competitiveness of the sport, right? It's terrible. You don't want to cheat. I wouldn't feel good about winning by cheating, right? I've said it before. I played in a softball league where a team used an illegal bat. The entire team used an illegal bat. Eventually, it was found out. They were asked not to come back to the league. It's just for what? For what reason, right? It's embarrassing. It's awkward. Whatever. You get caught. Michigan doesn't seem to feel that shame about what happened to them, or at least fans online. I guess they're the loud majority. Just like Kirk Herbstreit refers to the lunatic fringe of Buckeye fans. The loud majority always seem to be the craziest. I think your average Michigan fan is probably a little bit, at least, maybe not embarrassed, but I don't know. Maybe embarrassed is a good word. Just disappointed, whatever you want to say. But I'd rather see that. I'd honestly rather see a team cheat to try to win than lose on purpose.
Yeah.
Because that really violates the spirit of competitiveness. Like that's, I don't know. What do you do when you have 2 teams trying to throw a game? What do you do then?
I don't know. That's why I mean, but the thing that I don't understand, right, is
Maybe you get Ohio State, Texas 14-7, right?
supposedly the MLB might have known that Luis Ortiz was cheating last year, or not cheating,
Yeah.
but betting last year. And
Yeah,
if that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
case, why do you even let the trade go through?
That's a huge question for me. That's another thing that I have a problem with. If Major League Baseball knew that was going on, why would they let the Guardians trade for him? I mean, how could they let that trade go through? I mean, maybe they're in a situation where they didn't know for sure if an investigation was going to be launched, but man, just with the inkling of it, I mean, they can nix any trade that they
But
see fit to. I mean, we've seen it before, especially with the NBA. The NBA cancels trades all the time.
yeah, but like I just
But
don't
yeah,
understand.
I don't
Like,
know.
but kind of like some of my friends have said it. It's like if the Pirates go to trade him, and the MLB's like, well, no, you can't trade him. And they're like, well, why?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, and then the MLB say, oh, well, we can't disclose that now, but you can't trade him.
Yeah. Right.
So now it
Just
looks
hang on to
bad
that guy. Yeah.
because now he's with the. Because then and like I said, then it looks bad because now he's with the Guardians. You're like, oh well, now the Guardians' whole team could be gambling, and you're like, no, if
Yeah.
it's dating back to last year, it's probably just obviously now it's Class A too, but
Well, now it makes you wonder: is it more widespread than we think? I mean, it seems to be isolated to the Guardians, and that's the joke nationally. It's like, oh, the Guardians. I bet they whatever. But like you said, Ortiz was with the Pirates last year. It seems like the rumor is that Major League Baseball had some advanced knowledge of something going on last year. So yeah, I mean, it's
but
not just the Guardians, right?
also what I heard too is that Class A and Luis Ortiz became friends in spring training. So it makes you
Okay.
wonder if maybe Ortiz was doing it last year, but just not in like as high of a volume. Maybe he wasn't betting as much money.
Yeah.
And then now that he
Yeah.
went Class A, he started putting more money on it because Class A was heavy into it.
Maybe.
And it's also one of those things too, right? Where like I saw somebody on Twitter say this, and I was like, that makes sense. They're like, yeah, Class A had a heck of a year last year. Then comes postseason, and he gets absolutely shelled, and the MLB's probably thinking, oh well, he can't be. He's probably just had a bad couple outings. Then he starts this year where he keeps giving up all these homers, and you're like, okay, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but the shelf. We've talked about the shelf life of closers being pretty short anyway. It's not a long-lived. I mean, most closers aren't Mariano Rivera, right? Where they're just unhittable their entire career. I feel like you could run Mariano Rivera out right now to enter Sandman, and he'd shut somebody down 1, 2, 3 in the ninth, no problem. Throwing only cutters. I don't even know how old he is now, but whatever. I feel like he'd still shut someone down.
Well, I don't know if he would now because he just tore his Achilles, but
okay, that might be a problem. But
when
he gets back up and running, yeah, he can't throw from a chair. But yeah, when he gets back up and running,
he was playing left field in a Yankees old timer game and went to breaking on the ball and tore his Achilles.
Oh my god, man, getting old's rough, dude. Don't underestimate getting older.
No,
let's get into college football because yesterday was the first full Saturday. It was the first full weekend slate. And this is a fun weekend, Labor Day anyway, every year because you got games like Thursday through Monday, right? You can always find something. I had the TV on downstairs a little bit ago. Now, granted, it was Alabama A&M playing Arkansas. It wasn't exactly a close game, but at least, hey, Division I football was going on. I was able to watch it. It was fun. It was live. I love this time of year. I love college football. I don't necessarily love the weather that's coming behind it.
Question is though, what do you love more, college or NFL?
College.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. I like to watch NFL football. I do. But and the NFL is not on like college football is.
No.
But Ben, I mean, I'll pull up the multi-view and have 4 games on at once and just kind of, glance at all 4 for a while until I pick one I want to concentrate on for a little bit. And I'll wake up at as close as I can to 9 a.m. Sometimes you sleep in a little bit on a Saturday, but I'm usually up and I'm watching game day, and I watch as much as I can in and out with the kids and doing things or whatever. But I've got game day on the TV, which, by the way, we'll get to Lee Corso in a minute.
My friend.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to Lee Corso in a minute, but it's just not going to be the same anymore. I'm still gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch.
And I know he's been in and out over the last few years anyway with some health issues, but it's still just now knowing that he's never going to be on the show again is rough.
Yeah.
Usually but I can do this all day. I can sit from, at a TV. Obviously, like I don't just sit there and not do anything. I've got things going on.
No,
I'll have college football on the TV from 9 a.m. until 1 a.m. And it's no problem. And, watching as much as I can of 7 or 8 or 10 different games or whatever the Buckeyes are on, that obviously takes up all my time that day. at that time period. But yeah, I love this time of year. And this is just a fun weekend because you've got it all week. It's just Thursday through Monday, wall to wall college football everywhere, all kinds of fun stuff going on. Bowling Green is 1-0. Eddie George, the head coach there, he's 1-0. Wins his first game. But Ben, we talked about it before we started. Did you see the second year in a row Bowling Green returned the opening kickoff of the season for a touchdown?
That's crazy.
How does that? I mean, what are the odds of that? That's amazing. Well, now that we're talking about betting, what are the odds on that? I thought that was pretty cool.
Year, they might get investigated.
Yeah, so I don't want to say that, right? So they beat Lafayette 26-7. There were a couple other games on Thursday that caught my eye. Ohio University hung with Rutgers. I don't know. There's always this rumor of Rutgers getting better every year, right? Like this is the year Rutgers is going to win like 7 games. They squeaked one out against OU. They beat Ohio 34-31. So I had my eye on that game for a little bit.
I think it's kind of that thing, right? Where like Rutgers is kind of like that middle of the pack Big Ten team, right? Where they get a couple 4-stars on each side of the football, and but they never have like an elite level quarterback or and that's what always hurts them, right? Like you look at all these like middle of the pack like Big Ten teams now, like before Penn State got Drew Aller, right?
Yeah,
like they had a middle of the pack quarterback and they weren't great, right? Like I feel like if these small schools, like these smaller like Big Ten schools, like like your Purdue's, your even Iowa, like Purdue, Iowa,
Northwestern.
Northwestern, if they get like an elite level quarterback that is really, really good, they could make some noise because it's football. You need a good quarterback.
Yeah.
To do anything in college football.
Yeah, I mean most of those teams. The problem with most of those teams that you've mentioned is really being able to consistently move the ball and score. I mean Iowa maybe more than any of those teams, and Northwestern too here the last few years. But yeah, I agree with you. You get a 5-star quarterback. You get an elite 11 guy.
Yeah,
you're doing pretty good. So I don't know. What other game? Oh, did you see? I don't know. Nebraska, Cincinnati. People are like Nebraska's back, baby. I mean, they beat Cincinnati 20-17. I don't know that like. What is and by the way, Dylan Raiola had a decent game. He seems to be a decent kid, not a bad quarterback. Is there a possibility that he really thinks that he's Patrick Mahomes? Like, I mean,
did you see the clip of him when he was standing outside the huddle and he's going like this?
Yeah,
he's doing the Patrick Mahomes thing.
Yeah, I mean, the guy walks around wearing the same sunglasses. He's got the same haircut. He's the same number. He does the same warm-up routine, but then if you catch him, talking to the media, he's like, "I'm just my own guy. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm my own guy. I don't emulate anyone." I mean, dude, come on. It's like watching Patrick Mahomes cosplay. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like,
little do we know his brother's going to turn into Jackson Mahomes.
I mean, what you never know, right? It's weird because I get it. You emulate your stars, or your idols or whatever. Like when I pitched, I mean, the Braves were on TBS, and I tried to make myself like this. I don't know, this amalgamation of like John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux. I took little things from each of their, but I didn't walk around with like a John Smoltz beard and like my Greg Maddux glasses and like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't try to look like them. You know what I mean? Like this guy, I mean, it's crazy. He looks dead on Patrick Mahomes with the haircut and the style, everything. It's funny. It makes me laugh. It's whatever. I don't care. It doesn't make me like him any less. I just think it's funny when he talks to the media. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Who's Patrick Mahomes? What's NFL? I don't know what that is. And by the way, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at that game. I don't know if you saw that.
They were. I didn't. Well, I don't know if you.
That's big news.
I mean, they both went to Cincinnati, so I mean, I feel like Travis kind of pulled some strings there to get him to play inside Arrowhead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why not?
I mean, that's cool for them, though.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, imagine playing a college football game in front of like Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Patrick Mahomes, who, is clearly Raiola's idol, whether he wants to admit it or not. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I think that's cool. Man, Illinois won big. I'm looking at Illinois. They're ranked 12th. Do we have to worry about Illinois in a few weeks? Are they legit? They beat who they beat? Western Illinois. Well, the directional schools are always whatever, but Western Illinois 52-3. I mean, that's pretty convincing.
I don't think so, because I think it's one of those things where it's like Illinois never really played us close.
Not for a while. Back in the back in the early 2000s, there were some good games with them.
But I think it's one of those things when it's like, I think our next real big competition is going to be that Penn State game.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably legit. Looking at the schedule, yeah. You don't think Ohio University is going to cause a problem?
I mean,
Grambling.
The Bobcat might fight Brutus again.
You remember that? I forgot.
I don't. This thing was right. Like I don't remember it, right? But like I've seen clips of it. So this makes no sense to me though, right? I'm looking at Ohio State's schedule. Why is Ohio State versus Ohio a 7 p.m. game?
Because it's a marquee matchup. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was,
And why is Ohio State Grambling State 3:30?
Because it's Ohio State, Ohio University is number 1 versus number 3 in the shoe, man. What are you talking about? Of course, it's 7:00, right? It's got to be. Let's talk about you know what? Since we're on it, let's just talk about the win over Texas, because Ohio State, obviously, if you are living under a rock and you didn't see that Ohio State beat Texas 14-7 yesterday, there I said the score: Ohio State beat Texas 14-7. The number 1 team comes into number 1 team in the nation comes into the shoe. They didn't look like the number 1 team in the nation. I don't know that you can say that anybody's overrated, underrated, whatever. Preseason rankings are funny to me because sometimes where does it even come from? You know what I mean? I think. Do you know who Phil Steele is, by the way, Ben?
I do not.
Okay, so he's a guy who compiles like every roster. I don't know how he does it. He's obviously got a team of, I don't know, like robot drones or something, but he's done this for years. I used to buy the magazine every year, but he compiles the rosters and he kind of gives you like his overall view. And I haven't seen it this year. I have not looked at the magazine this year, so I don't know where these teams are. But the year that Ohio State won the national championship when they beat Miami, they were 7-5 the year before under Tressel, and in the regular season went 7-5. And Phil Steele had them as his number 3 team in the nation coming in that year. They were very middle of the road, right? Like they were just average. Like you were like, where is this program going? Phil Steele identified them as one of his like 5 or 6 teams that had a legit shot to win a title. And you were like, what? And then they won the national championship. I mean, they beat Miami in the national championship game. And ever since then, I've paid closer attention. I used to buy the magazine every year and just kind of look. But he's got full rosters, like guys who he expects to have breakout seasons, returning starters, bios. It's a fantastic magazine. You can Google it. I'm sure you can order it. I used to buy it at like Giant Eagle. You go in and they have it in the magazine. It's awesome. I love that magazine. But I would love to see this year's and see where he has teams like Texas and Ohio State and LSU. I mean, what did you think about the debut for Julian Sayin? While we're on it, let's just talk about the Buckeyes, because I know you were a little disappointed in the unwillingness of Ohio State to kind of open up the offense. I didn't think we would see that game 1 against the number 1 team in the nation. I thought they would play it close to the vest. It's not a Tressel joke. It's just a saying. But I thought they would play it a little closer to the vest. I thought they would be a little more cautious, a little more careful in their play calling. And honestly, the defense, Ben, I don't know if Texas and Arch Manning are just really bad, but the defense looked really, really good yesterday for Ohio State. Was that Matt Patricia or is that personnel? What happened there?
I think it's one of those things, right, where they said it before the game, right? You know, Ohio State lost 14 starters from last year's team.
Yeah.
And you lost both coordinators, right?
Yeah.
You replace Jim Knowles, arguably one of the best defensive coordinators in college football.
Yeah.
With a 3-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, right?
And regardless of how we feel about Jim Knowles, by the way, he is what he is.
So if you look at it, right, like that might be an upgrade for the Buckeyes, right? Like he's coached NFL level. He brings NFL schemes to college.
Yeah.
Right. Now the issue with that is if he can't get his schemes across, it's not going to work because he's running an NFL scheme in college. Yeah. But after seeing yesterday and after seeing all these stunts and these blitzes that we ran with, like he wasn't having to rush more than 5 and he was able to get pressure.
Yeah. And they did a lot of, I don't know if you saw, they masked a lot of, they just did a lot of different things with the pressure. I mean, they hit a blitzer here. They faked the guy dropping back into pass coverage. They did a lot of different stuff that was, I thought, just really confusing for probably I'm sure the Texas offensive line and for Arch Manning, which he looked confused most of the day.
And with this defense, though, with the guys you have, right, if they can understand his defense, this defense will be just as good as it was last year, if not better, right?
I agree.
Like you said, you saw these times, where, it might look like, they're bringing both linebackers and Sonny Styles and, that Arvell Reese guy, that dude is a beast.
Yeah, for sure. And if you've been paying attention to the offseason, everyone's been talking about Arvell Reese. Like they expected him to blow up, and here he is.
But you look at all these guys, right? And you're like, dude, he's like a small defensive lineman with his size.
Yeah.
And going back to what I was saying about bringing pressure, right? Jim Knowles had to bring 6, 7 guys to get pressure
Mm-hmm.
because he just didn't do anything exotic. He didn't hide
No,
anything.
he
Didn't
never
mask
disguised.
anything.
Yeah, there were never any like packages where he disguised a blitz. It just never progressed. And now listen, Ben, here's where I think the difference is. I think that Jim Knowles is a defensive genius. I think he understands his scheme, right? He knows his scheme in and out. He's just maybe not a teacher. Now, I think maybe this is where you see the difference between him and Matt Patricia. I think Patricia is more able to relate to these guys, not only on a one-on-one basis, but on a, just relate to the entire defense. Like, here's your job. Here's what you're doing. Here's why you're doing it. And when you're able to make it make sense more quickly, I think it's just easier to pick up for players. Like when you know your responsibilities and you know what your backup plan is, you know what your option 2A, 2B, 2, whatever. If you know what's going on around you, I think it makes you a lot more aware, obviously, as a defender. And I don't think that having Caleb Downs in that secondary hurts either. I mean, he's probably like a coach on the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Patricia is just, it looks like maybe, it sounds like to me, he's just able to relate to the players more and is doing a better job of really, just explaining to them what they're doing and why they're doing it.
And
if that makes sense.
No, it does. And, we talked about it, last week, with your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if having that guy from the Dolphins, I'm blanking on his name.
Josh Boyer?
Yeah, Josh Boyer.
Yeah.
I wonder if because yesterday, the defensive backs looked incredible.
Yeah.
So, like you said, if it was one of those things where he was like, Matt Patricia was focusing, on the front seven.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have James Laurinaitis, one of the best linebacker coaches in the country. That dude's a beast. But then you have Josh Boyer, who was probably focusing on the defensive backs and was probably telling Patricia, "Hey, let's use this here, and maybe let's go with this play here." And you looked at late in the game; they almost had 2 interceptions on back-to-back drives.
Yeah, and like you said, the secondary was phenomenal yesterday. Yeah. Heads around, looking at the ball. Igbinosun didn't grab anybody's jersey.
That's what I was going to say. Igbinosun
was in perfect position all day.
He looked like a whole different player.
Yeah, he did.
And
he looked like he understood the assignment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now going to, losing your other coordinator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And losing Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
One of the most creative football minds and play calling minds in football.
Yeah. And maybe we saw the effect of that a little bit yesterday, more than on the defense.
But you go from Chip Kelly, who's an established play caller, to a guy who's never ever called plays before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's never implemented his own game plan.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, if you've been a fan of the show,
granted, we should say Texas's defense was also very, very stout. They're very good. I mean, they've got All-Americans. I mean, they're also very, very good.
They were good, but at the same time, right? Like you got a guy in Chip Kelly who was so innovative and so creative with being able to run the football with less talent, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like you look at this Ohio State team from yesterday, right? They averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, old Woody Hayes, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But when you can't throw the ball.
No, that's got to be better. Yeah.
And they have 2 interior defensive tackles that are both All-Americans.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's sort of like the Michigan game where there's like, hey, we're just going to run the ball right at the middle every time at your 2 All-American defensive tackles, and you just got to stop us.
Right at your first round draft picks. Let's run to the strength of your defense. I know.
And I get it's his first start.
But I think sometimes, I told you too, I think Ohio State might have, maybe Ryan Day and some combination of Matt Patricia, whoever on defense. I just think maybe they thought Texas had a little bit too much speed to really run to the perimeter and be successful with it. So I think you do want to keep it between the tackles, but you hope for a better day from your offensive line. They did a great job pass blocking, but they only passed it 20 times. I mean, it's like, Sam was 13 of 20. I think I'm looking at the stats. 13 of 20 for 126 yards and a touchdown. I thought he played well. He made a couple good throws. There were some drops from guys that you wouldn't have expected to have drive. Jeremiah Smith dropped the ball. Max Clare dropped the ball. There were drops around. First game jitters. It happens. That noon sun is bright.
Yeah,
you can tell on the game. Sometimes I was looking at my TV, like squinting a little bit. So maybe that plays a factor. I don't know.
I do want to say this though. The one play that made absolutely zero sense.
Okay.
Was that play when we were in 13 personnel? The 3 tight ends, the 1 running back, right?
Yeah.
You ran the football, which I'm okay with that, right? With 3 tight ends.
3 tight ends, you're gonna yeah.
But then the next play, you keep 3 tight ends out there, and you call a pass play.
Yeah.
Like, it's third.
What was the result of that play? Do you remember?
It was an incomplete pass
Yeah.
to go to fourth down.
Yeah.
Like,
that was at the end of the game, right? They're trying to run out the clock.
No, I think that was like middle of third quarter.
Okay. I couldn't remember which one you are, because there was also a play toward the end of the game where they. Okay, I don't know if you saw this. Sayin drops back to pass. He gets flushed out of the pocket. And I thought this was the one. If I'm nitpicking on Julian,
you talking about the incomplete pass?
Yeah, I thought he should have just run it. You would have been better off either losing a yard or not gaining anything there, and keeping the clock running than throwing an incomplete pass. That was the one mistake that I thought he made that could have been.
But then Ryan Day said that he loved the decision.
Well, he's not going to call him out publicly. I mean, you're not going to call out your brand new quarterback and say, "Yeah, he stinks. He shouldn't have done that." No, we're going to smack him in the helmet in the locker room.
At the same time, Ryan Day is a quarterback whisperer. I mean, yeah. So I'm not worried, but at the same time, like, why are you going to run 13 personnel and just be like, "Yeah, we're just going to throw the ball"? Yeah, you have the 5 best receivers in the country.
I mean, maybe they thought they would surprise him. You know what I mean? Catch him. I don't know. Who knows? 8, 9 guys in the box and throw over the top of them real quick and get a few yards. But who knows? Who knows?
But
like you said earlier, though, hindsight's 20/20. It's hard to go back and say, "Well, why'd you do this? You should have done that." It's nitpicking a little bit, but I do understand your point. I get it. I mean, it was a questionable decision.
But a win's a win. So I mean, let's just put it this way: quarterbacks making their first start against the number 1 team in the country, were 0-18 going into yesterday.
Yeah.
So Julian Sayin,
you know who the last guy to win in that situation was, don't you?
No.
You don't know?
Oh, Julian Sayin.
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh yeah,
before Julian Sayin, back in 1984, he beat Miami. Yeah. I think that Michigan beat Miami like 22-14. I don't know what kind of game Harbaugh had. But believe me, the Michigan fans were quick to tell us that they didn't win because of Julian Sayin. I'm like, that's not what the graphic says. It doesn't say that these two quarterbacks carried their team to absolute victory. It just says these are the only quarterbacks to do it. So that's pretty cool. I mean, he didn't make any mistakes. He did, like I said, the tiny little whatever. I thought I would rather have held on to the ball. But then you do also take the risk of, getting hit out there on the edge and fumbling. That's a thing too. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why Ryan Day liked the decision of getting rid of the football there. I don't know.
But going back to before, like Big Noon kickoff and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Urban Meyer said if he was coaching this game, his game plan would have been run the football and stick to the perimeter.
Yeah.
You look at this game, they ran the ball, and all their passes came from the perimeter, right?
Yeah.
And if a Hall of Fame level coach is saying run the ball and stick to the perimeter, it's hard to not trust the game plan.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, Ryan Day coached under Harbaugh for 4 years. So you look at it and it's like maybe he learned that from Jim Harbaugh. Or not Jim Harbaugh, Urban Meyer.
I was wondering where you were going. I'm like, no. I thought you were having a stroke, to be honest with you.
No, but
I had 9 and 1 dialed on my phone. I wasn't sure about you. Yeah, I don't know. I just, the play that I can't. Speaking of sticking to the perimeter, the play that I cannot stand is that little tailback swing pass. I just feel like Urban Meyer fell in love with that.
Oh, they've done it since Meyer.
Oh, I know. And it's been a mainstay. It's been a staple of that offense. And I can't say it because it gives a fast defense plenty of time to get out and surround. And it never, unless you get like the perfect block and your running back beats, it's not even really a one-on-one. I mean, half the time it's a one-on-two, right? Because you get a safety and a linebacker that get out there. They have plenty of time with the swing pass. I mean, it's not like it's not a pass you throw out there at 100 miles an hour. I mean, it takes some time to get to the perimeter.
So I found the box score for that.
Stand that.
Yeah, I found the box score for that Michigan game from Harbaugh.
Okay.
He was 11 of 21, 163 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Okay. Well, then we can comfortably say that Julian Sayin outplayed him.
The running back had 10 carries for 79 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Who was that running back, by the way?
Perryman.
Okay, just curious.
It doesn't say his first name. It just says Perryman.
Gotcha. I'm sure he didn't have a first name. Back then, guys didn't have first names.
This dude made like this site I'm on is like it wouldn't load on anything else. I couldn't find stats. It's like a PDF that somebody made of all. It's like type. The stats are like hand typed.
It's like it's carved into a stone tablet.
Yeah, dude. It's
that long ago.
No, but again though, right? Like if you look at Ohio State's last 7 opponents, did you see that graphic?
Yeah.
Like their last 7 opponents are like that's a schedule where most people go 4-3.
Yeah.
And Ohio
And
State's
for some reason,
7-0.
people are laughing at that. I don't get it. Oh, those teams are all overrated. I don't know, man. I mean, they stood the test of time and they were in the playoff at the end of the season.
Dude, the one thing
I don't think that they're all overrated, but
the
whatever.
one thing I found funny about College Game Day yesterday was they got to talk about Ohio State, facing the number 1 team in Texas.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban's like, yeah, he's like, we used to always try to do that whenever we could. I was like, no, you didn't. I was like,
Tried to do what whenever they could.
I was like, your week 1 games were like FCS Southeast from like
I mean,
the middle of Rhode Island.
Right? Like Hampton and like the Citadel. And I mean, come on.
Like what?
Come on. I love Nick Saban, but that's just
like, when's the last time?
And now, granted, there's something to be said. Like maybe a lot of these schools didn't want to go play Bama week 1, so maybe they did try. Maybe they were behind the scenes, like, "Hey, we'll cancel the 1-1 with or the home and home with Hampton. We don't have a home and home with Hampton. Hampton's coming into Alabama, but we'll cancel the whatever with Hampton." But listen, the one thing that always kind of bothered me about Alabama is they were never, if they played at a neutral, because you get the neutral site games in week 1 sometimes, right? If they played at a neutral site, it was like the Sugar Dome, or like. Right. Somewhere very like Jackson, like somewhere very regional to Alabama. Like they just never traveled up north. Like even in the warm months, it just felt like Saban just stayed down in that little pocket of the SEC. And that's fine. You're comfortable where you're comfortable. I'm not saying that is what contributed to the run. They clearly were a dynasty. They won championships. They beat a lot of great teams in that run. But I guess now that we're talking about Saban, we got to mention Alabama because they listen, is Florida State back or is Alabama just done? Florida State beat Alabama yesterday, 31-17. And if you had been out living in space for the last 25 years and landed back on the planet yesterday and watched Florida State and Alabama, you'd go, wow, this Florida State team is like, they're the dominant. Like if you didn't look at the numbers, the rankings, anything else, you'd say, wow, Florida State's really good. And who's this Alabama squad? Like they have a long way to go. Like they don't look like a team that has a bunch of 5 stars that just, we're the greatest, probably the greatest dynasty in the history of college football. Kalen DeBoer has taken over, and I saw a graphic where Nick Saban coached like 230-some games before losing to 4 unranked teams, and now in 14 games, Kalen DeBoer has done it. He's lost 4 games to unranked teams. Are they just? I mean, these things can only last so long. Ben, are they done?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things when it's like, it's kind of like we used to say with Ryan Day, right?
Yeah.
When he took over for Urban Meyer, right?
Yeah.
He always had those losses late in the season or in a bowl game, and you said, "Well, they're not his guys. They're all They're all Urban Meyer's guys."
Yeah.
Right. Like you look at it, but now I'll say this: now that Ryan Day has his guys, right? Mm-hmm. Ohio State's one of the best teams in the country.
They are. They're a machine right now.
So if you think about it, right? You think about, Kalen DeBoer, is coaching at Alabama, but none of these guys are his guys. They're all Nick Saban's guys still.
But don't you think the mark of a good coach is being able to come in, look at a roster, assess the talent, and coach to what you have a little bit?
I think so.
Until you get your guys there.
But I think it's also the same as like Ryan Day knows what works for him, right? A pocket passing quarterback.
Yeah.
With good, big, strong, tall receivers and a good running back.
Right? By the way, I'll take all that. That works for me too.
But I think some coaches' offenses work better with a mobile quarterback, right? Because you can run some boots, you can run some read options, you can run some RPOs, some zone reads, right?
Yeah, and listen, Urban Meyer loves a mobile quarterback, and he did walk into Braxton Miller, so.
And that's the thing, right? Like Ryan Day loves he loves the pocket passers. Obviously, yes, he walked into Justin Fields. Yeah. But if you look at Justin Fields' stats in college, the most yards he ever had in a season was 437 yards. Rushing.
Yeah, he didn't run the ball a lot. I mean, when things went awry, he could take off and make something happen with his legs, but he didn't have a whole lot of designed runs. Yeah, Ryan, that's not Ryan Day.
And you look at C.J. Stroud, his 2 years at Ohio State as a starter, for 85 touchdowns and over 8,000 yards.
Right.
And obviously, Will Howard had 1 year here in the Buckeyes, right? But if he'd been here for more than 1 year, he had a 73% completion percentage last year.
Right. The offense is definitely very tailored to the guy who can sit back there and pick a defense apart. I mean, there's not a lot of, 1-2 read, take off. You're not going to see that from Ryan Day, obviously.
But I think that's what made Nick Saban so good, right? Is obviously he's he's a great coach, and
Mm-hmm.
all great coaches can, adjust to.
Yeah.
But I think the coaches that aren't on that level, right, need the guys that fit their system, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Whether that's a mobile quarterback, whether that's a pure pocket passer. But
Okay.
Nick Saban, right? His quarterback would change every year. He had Mac Jones one year, who
Yeah.
couldn't run to save his life.
I don't know that anyone's done more with less at quarterback than Nick Saban did.
Like, when's the last time he had an elite level quarterback that was good in the NFL that was won a national title?
Well, I mean, not even Jalen Hurts, because
He transferred to
Hurts was
Oklahoma.
there for the bulk of that season, but then he got bent. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's one of those things too, where it's like,
Yeah.
does Alabama claim Jalen Hurts because he went to Oklahoma?
I don't know. I remember he got benched for two. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just such a, he got him there, right? But he didn't finish the thing. I don't know. I mean, that's a more convoluted situation. I think.
How many coaches though have the gut to bench your star level quarterback in Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
For a true freshman at halftime of a college football national championship game.
I mean, I feel like only Nick Saban would do that. I mean, Urban Meyer's worst season was when he struggled between Cardale Jones and JT Barrett, and he was, he was reluctant to make a decision, and I think it showed. I mean, the Buckeyes struggled because of that. So yeah, that's a big decision. You're right. It's tough.
Like usually he might be the only coach in the country that's like, yeah, he's like, I'm just going to bench you. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was the only guy. He had that kind of hubris. Like that's Nick Saban in a nutshell, right? Like he's going to do whatever it is for the team that, is going to get you a W. And I think for a long time, he had a lot of players, even though they were all 5-star, not all 5 stars, but a ton of 5-star guys, a lot of 4-star guys. I think they all bought in and they were all good with that. I mean, you saw a lot of guys, and now granted, the transfer portal wasn't, then what it is now.
Then, yeah.
No, but you saw a lot of guys, stay at Alabama for 2 or 3 years in a backup role or a very limited role until they finally got to start their junior, senior year, 5th year senior, whatever it was. And they would shine, right? And they'd become this like 1st or 2nd round draft pick, and they'd go on. And a lot of guys, had really good NFL careers despite not really being that, having that much notoriety in college under Nick Saban. And I think that just, it speaks to the level of just education, right? Like you just learn so much playing for a guy like Nick Saban. And I think that's why a lot of guys went there for so many years. I mean, Saban is what he is, man.
But I think that's kind of like the same way with Ohio State's defense this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at last year's team, right? You had all those guys that returned because they wanted to win a national title and they had unfinished business, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You had JTT, you had Jack Sawyer, right? You had all these guys that could have easily came out after their junior year.
Yeah.
And still gotten drafted.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe not Jack Sawyer because he didn't really have a great year until his senior
year.
Until his
if Sawyer would have come out the year before, I think he would have gone undrafted. I do.
But you look at all these guys that stayed. All the corners, JTT, Jack Sawyer, they all stayed. And after the 3rd year, all the guys behind them were like, yes, we're finally getting a job, and they all announced, yeah, we're coming back, and they're like, well, now what do we do? But
they stuck around.
But now all those guys stuck around, and look how good the team was yesterday. And you lost like your entire starting defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
they looked really good. Is Arch Manning just? I
think Arch Manning will be just fine.
I think so too. I think he's a player. I mean,
on the road, but before yesterday, he had never attempted a pass on the road in college football.
Right. Yeah, the shoe's not an easy place to do that.
And to walk into a place that is 108,000 people.
Yeah.
It's one of the toughest places to play in the country.
Yeah.
And try to complete your first pass.
Yeah. I don't think it's time to bench him. I think they'll be okay.
But I also think, right, if he has I could see Arch Manning being exactly like Joe Burrow was at LSU.
Okay. 1 year struggle, next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to come in this year, have a mediocre season. It'll be a good year, but it'll be mediocre. And then next year, I could see.
Do you mean mediocre in the sense of Arch Manning's stats, or in Texas's results? Like you see Texas going like 9-3 this year, or do you mean Manning just doesn't throw for like 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns?
I see it being both, like kind of like Joe Burrow at LSU in 2019.
Yeah, they weren't very good. You're right. You're right. Yeah,
like they were like. You look at the way he played yesterday.
Yeah. Boy, that LSU team, that was just the perfect storm. That was a lot of fun to watch, even though it wasn't like your team, whatever.
Oh yeah, dude, that
was a lot of fun to watch, man. That was so cool.
Like, you look at 2018, Joe Burrow threw for 2,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Right?
Yeah.
So decent year.
Yeah, he flashed. He didn't turn the ball over a lot and made some plays. Yeah,
not great. LSU went 10-3.
Yeah.
So, and in today's game, that could get you into the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Depending on how many other teams have 3 losses.
Yeah. I mean, truly. And then coming out of the SEC as well, it was a pretty loaded SEC that year. Yeah.
And then you fast forward to his 2019 season, Burrow. He threw 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, and 6 picks.
That's pretty good. It's ridiculous.
You look at his team, right? He still had.
What if there would have been a 12-team playoff and Burrow would have gotten 3 more games that year?
Yeah,
Justin
Jefferson that year only had 5. He only had 50. He had 54 catches for 875 yards.
Right.
In 2018.
Yeah.
So the team wasn't great.
No, Burrow's yeah.
And then you fast forward to the 2019 season, and they had one of the best offenses ever in college football.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best. Really, it's hard to say. It's hard to vote against that. I mean, they might be honestly, Ben. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but they might be the best team of all time.
I don't know if the best team, but definitely the best offense of all time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of those Miami teams in the 2000s were pretty good, but man, I don't know. That LSU team was they were a force.
I could see that with LSU, right, or with Texas this year, next year, right? Because Texas this year doesn't have an elite number 1 wide receiver, right?
Not well. Wingo's. I mean, yeah.
But I could see it being one of those things too, where it's Arch Manning starts, finally gets the chance to start. I think it'll be a very pedestrian, mediocre year, and he'll be like, okay, I can't. Because it was the same thing with Burrow, right? Everybody's expecting Burrow to go to LSU, play for 1 year, and then leave and get drafted.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when he had a mediocre year, everybody's like, maybe he shouldn't come out.
Yeah, but he stuck around, and he had maybe the coolest year of any quarterback in college football history.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, something about the way, his demeanor, everything was just so much fun to watch about that team.
And I think that could be the same thing with Arch Manning too.
Okay.
Because it almost feels like Joe Burrow, besides the transferring part, right? He didn't transfer. He stayed loyal to Texas, but he sat for 2 years, which Joe Burrow did.
Yeah.
Right? Then then Burrow went to LSU, played, had a mediocre season. Arch Manning's now playing. And Joe Burrow.
I'm sure he'd take that career arc. That's fine, right?
Joe Burrow's 2018 season wasn't bad. I mean, he threw for almost 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns.
Right.
But it wasn't what is 2019 year was going to be.
2019 was legendary. But I'm going to move on real quick. We got a little bit of time left. Penn State, I paid attention to them a little bit yesterday. They beat Nevada 46-11 was the final score. Did you see anything that makes you worry anymore about this Penn State team versus any other Penn State team that almost gets it done against Ohio State, but not quite? I mean, Aller's another year more advanced.
I didn't really see any of the Penn State games just because they were playing Nevada.
Gotcha. Yeah, but James Franklin, the fact is he's 1 in 3,000 against top 10 teams.
But I mean, you look at their stats, right? They're supposed to have this all-level, high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Aller only threw for 217 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I think opening it up week 1 against a team like Nevada, you're not going to show everything.
I get that, right? But this is a team, right, where
sometimes you get a lot too where Nevada couldn't move the ball. They were struggling. Then you get really short fields, and it's you score a ton of points, but you don't rack up a bunch of yards. It can be deceiving. I think that's kind of what happened to them.
No, and I get that too, right? But at the same time, right, it's these are the games where you can call casual pass plays, and with a guy like Drew Aller, he could throw for 300 and something yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, slant to the house is a real possibility. I get that. I don't know that I'm necessarily more worried about Penn State this year than any other year. I mean, we'll wait. We'll see it in a few weeks. More than a few weeks, but we'll see eventually. 2 other games I want to talk about real quick. LSU beat Clemson 17-10 at Clemson.
It's a good win.
LSU feels really legit to me, and maybe it's just me, but does it feel like Garrett Nussmeier has been at LSU since the Les Miles days? I mean, it feels like he's been there for 22 years. What's that?
It feels like he's been there since Burrow.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It feels like he's like a 7th-year senior to me. And I don't know actually how long he's been there, but it's good. LSU couldn't put it together at quarterback for a long time. And I don't know, Joe Burrow maybe started this trend where it's like kind of going the other way. Like Nussmeier looked pretty good. Clemson's defense looked pretty good. Cade Klubnik didn't look like the number one pick in the draft. Rough day for highly touted quarterbacks yesterday, a little bit. Klubnik didn't have the best game, but LSU's defense looked really good. LSU looks legit. They look like a really tough team.
They do. I do want to say this about Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Aller said he studied Ohio State's defense and how they've been beaten in the last couple of years.
Okay.
But then you fast forward and we bring in a whole new defensive coordinator that runs a whole new different system.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to have a lot to look at. And by then, they're going to be a well-oiled machine. If they look this good against Texas yesterday, they're going to be really tough. And one game I want to get to before we get out of here, Ben. Michigan takes on powerhouse New Mexico, and they down the Lobos 34-17. I wouldn't say they struggled with them, but I was just going to ask you, you went to sleep on me. What did you think about Bryce Underwood's debut for Michigan? How'd you feel about that?
Mediocre.
I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, for a true freshman coming out.
I thought he looked good, but
for a guy who got off the bus and started to walk the wrong way, I thought he literally turned it around. Yeah, that was funny. But I thought he did 21-31, 251 yards, a touchdown. You know, he didn't really make any big mistakes, which, I mean, how big a mistake can you make against New Mexico? But I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked pretty athletic back there. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but I thought he looked pretty good. Did you see the targeting call in that game?
I don't think so.
There was, I don't know who the Michigan player was right offhand, but he'll be suspended for the first half of next week's game. And I want to say I don't know who it was, but they called targeting. And I thought it was like one of the cleanest plays that I've seen. I mean, he hit the quarterback, right? He's trying to sack the quarterback, hit the quarterback. He turned his head to the side. And yeah, their helmets hit, but he didn't launch. He didn't lead with his helmet. I don't understand why it was targeting. I'm still not sure why. I mean, obviously I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm not, I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. But I couldn't believe they called that targeting, and I can't believe it stood. And now he's suspended for the first half of next week. And I wouldn't be surprised. I know I've seen them do this before, to where they kind of check the officiating crew and say, okay, that was a targeting, that was a mistake. He's eligible to play the first half. I wouldn't be surprised to see that this week, from wherever that comes from. I don't know if that's the NCAA or the conferences for the official. I have no idea.
I don't remember what team it was, but there was a team that had a player that got he got suspended. He was suspended for the first half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the team didn't know about it until Wednesday, and it occurred last year.
Yeah, who was that? I saw that this weekend. Was that LSU?
I don't know. But you had all offseason to tell the team.
Yeah. Well, they were so concerned with the Michigan sign stealing, they forgot. They just forgot. They had all their resources on the Michigan thing that they just forgot.
It just I just feel bad for that team though, because he was one of their best players, and this guy's unavailable for the first half on Saturday.
Yeah. By the way, this game plan that you've been implementing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, not anymore. Yeah, I thought that was pretty wild too. I did hear about that. There were really no surprises this weekend. I think everybody looked basically how I expected them to look, except for Alabama. And I don't even know that that's that big of a surprise based on what we saw last year with DeBoer. I mean, you thought it was maybe just like a first-year blues kind of a thing, but they look to be Bama. Maybe they might be in serious trouble.
It surprises me because of who it was against.
Yeah.
After the season Florida State had,
and that's why the question for me is like, is Florida State back or is Bama just that's it?
I mean, they finally got. I think it's one of the things, right, where Florida State finally got a somewhat decent quarterback. Thomas Castellanos, he didn't. I mean, he was 9 of 14 for 152 yards, right?
Yeah.
But as a team, they had 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 28 of your 31 points right there.
Yeah. So are they going to run over everybody like that all year, or is Bama just? Does Kalen DeBoer have that West Coast style defense where it's like, hey, I'm still in the Pac-12 out here. We're going to win games 45-42 at 1 a.m. I don't know. I mean, that's not going to cut it at Bama.
Did you see the clip of Ty Simpson? He ran like that. He stepped up in the pocket, rolled out, had an easy first down. It was like 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
Had an easy first down. As he gets the line of scrimmage, he tries to throw a ball like off balance to the tight end. The ball hits like 2 feet in front of the ground. I'm like, dude, you had an easy first down. You were down by 7.
Yeah.
It was 24-17.
Yeah, I did see that.
And you turn the ball over. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was a questionable decision. I think sometimes nerves just get the best of you, like you get caught in between trying to make two different plays, and it's like your body just doesn't respond. You know what I mean? It's like you should run it, but then like your brain, that one little neuron fires where it's like throw it, and you're not really like your body's not into it because the rest of your body knows you should probably run the ball. And I think that kind of stuff happens. I did see that, but not what lost in the game. I don't know. I mean, I didn't get to watch Indiana. I wanted to watch Indiana. They played Old Dominion, and have you heard anything about Indiana's quarterback? A lot of people are saying he could be like a top 5 draft pick, Fernando Mendoza.
He was
kind of came out of nowhere. He's just like off the radar, and all of a sudden people are saying, "Hey, watch out for Indiana. Curt Cignetti might have a legit quarterback here."
He was pretty good last year at Cal.
Yeah.
Last year at Cal, he threw for 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 picks.
Okay. Well, yesterday was pretty pedestrian. 18 of 31, 193 yards, no touchdowns. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. That's against Old Dominion. So, take from that what you will. I mean, first time in a new offense under a new coach with new surroundings. Maybe that's the thing. But that doesn't seem.
But yesterday he also had 6 carries for 33 yards.
What's that?
He also had 6 carries for 33 yards.
Okay.
So if he's gonna be a little mobile, I mean that adds a whole other dynamic to.
It does. I mean, I'm so anxious to see. Well, we gotta get out of here, but I'm so anxious to see how Ohio State's defense is going to be. If they're going to be that consistent going forward, because if they're as good as they were yesterday, and Texas is as good as we all think they are, there's absolutely no reason Ohio State shouldn't be 12-0 at the end of the regular season. It was ridiculous yesterday. They were stifling.
You mean 11-1 because they'll lose 6-3 to Michigan?
Don't say it. But yeah, it's funny to me that no matter lost 4 games in a row to Michigan, Ohio State fans are still in the comment section going, Michigan fan, what are you talking? Obviously, we're going to smack you at the end of the season. Like we've been saying that for 4 years. At some point, you actually have to do it. So
I don't think in the last 4 years.
I'm not in a rush to get there, Ben. I want to enjoy the whole college football season. I don't need it to be week 15 or whatever. Like I'm not in any rush. I'm going to enjoy this whole season. It's a long season. We've got a long way to go, but we don't have a real long way to go in this episode because we've been talking for an hour already, and it's time to get out of here. Time flies when you're talking college football. But thanks, guys, for watching. Eventually, we had the NIL episode planned today, but some circumstances came up that are beyond anyone's control. So we didn't do that today, but we will get to that eventually. We're going to have our very special guest on. You guys are going to love it. I promise it's going to be a great episode. Until then, thanks for watching. Remember to follow us. Go to Facebook and click follow. Go to YouTube and follow my YouTube channel. Wherever you're watching this, just give us a quick follow. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Just let us know you're out there watching. Let us know what you appreciate, what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see anything different, let me know that. And until then, I think Ben fell out of his chair. Are you still there? Oh, Ben's still there.
Sorry, I was just getting something.
He's just getting something. All right. Well, listen, for Ben Vales, I am Chad Bryan. Thank you again for watching the sports show with no name. Enjoy your Labor Day. It's a holiday weekend, so enjoy your extra day off if you get that. I hope you get that.
Sure.
And we will see you guys sometime next week or next weekend on the next episode of the Sports Show with No Name.